New testimony in a murder trial as a Hiatus House worker recounts the day Sarah Boulay disappeared. Plus, expansion of Dainty Foods into the U.S.
There's nothing to be concerned about.
Promises no Canadian jobs will be lost. And Corvette crews for a cure.
Is absolutely amazing for our families.
Windsor's Corvette Club raises a record amount for children battling cancer.
CTV News with Stefanie Masotti.
Good evening and thank you for joining us both on CTV Windsor and AM 800. Windsor-based Dainty Foods is eyeing operations across the border, looking to set up shop stateside. Could that mean Canadian jobs are in jeopardy? CTV's Travis Fortnum has the details on this tonight. And Travis, some concerns sparked when word got out last week.
That's right, Stephanie. Now, this is news that actually broke late last week on The Food Professor, Sylvain Charlebois' podcast. CEO of Dainty Foods, James Maitland, telling the host of the podcast that the company is looking to expand operations into the U.S. Now, given the current climate, that did lead to just a tiny bit of panic around what that might mean for operations here. Well, this week, Maitland is setting the record straight.
We are about to announce in the next couple months a new U.S. facility that will be sinking roughly $50 to $75 million into over the next 4 years to support the growth of our company.
Rather casually, during an interview on the Food Professor podcast, Dainty Foods CEO James Maitland shared news that the Windsor-based company will soon set up shop in the United States.
Now, the announcement that you just mentioned, is this public or is this a premiere for the Food Professor podcast?
It's a little bit of both. We haven't officially committed to which site we're going with yet, but it's been known in the industry that we were investing in the U.S.
While Dainty's news might not have been breaking, it did raise some eyebrows. Could Dainty be moving its operations out of Canada, scrapping dozens of jobs in Windsor and 140 years of history? Maitland saying unequivocally Tuesday, no.
There's nothing to be concerned about Dainty Foods jobs. Hearing Dainty investing in the U.S. is only going to make Dainty Canada stronger because of the synergies between the two organizations, but there is zero risk for Dainty Canada at all.
On the contrary, he points to a $35 million investment in Canada over the past 3 years and a new distribution center opening in Windsor this January, adding 30 jobs locally. Still, Maitland says the company hasn't been immune to tariff-related stress, at one point taking a 50% hit when levies were applied on both sides of the border, with 40% of their sales going into the U.S. The food professor himself saying the Dainty Foods expansion is pure good news.
We need to celebrate companies that do invest elsewhere around the world to brand Canada.
Charlebois says he understands the concern, especially after Diageo announced it will close its Amherstburg bottling facility and move that work to Illinois. But he says in this case, those concerns are misplaced.
I mean, you don't really make a move like that just because of a presidency. I mean, it's just too short.
So Maitland says this expansion has been a long time coming, but even still, the company has not yet nailed down a location for this expansion into the United States. Stephanie.
Okay, Travis Fortnum with our top story tonight. Thank you, Travis. Meantime, Titan Tool and Die was in civil court today against Unifor Local 195. The company wants the court to intervene on this blockade of their other business, Futura Tool and Die. Since September 10th, Unifor has been blocking transports from leaving or getting in. Today, Titan's lawyers asked a Superior Court judge to expand an injunction preventing this type of activity from Titan over to Futura. If approved, Unifor would only be allowed to block trucks for 30 minutes. The company is arguing this blockade is harming their business, while Unifor is arguing the court can't expand an injunction. The company must begin a whole new process if it wishes to expand the injunction from Titan to Futura. The judge says she needs some time to make her decision, but she did not say how long that will take. Leamington's Highline Mushrooms has been fined $115,000 after a worker was seriously hurt back in July. According to the Ministry of Labour, the worker was entangled in a net washing machine at a facility in Kingsville. The worker's injuries were described as critical. The ministry says there were no measures, procedures, guards, or other devices in place to prevent access to a hazard. The company must also pay a 25% victim fine surcharge. The Nathaniel Krug inquest is now over, and the jury made some practical recommendations for preventing future overdose deaths of inmates. Nathaniel Krug died in March of 2021 after taking fentanyl and a sedative, sometimes used for insomnia. He had entered the jail just 9 days earlier, charged with attempted murder. The jury of 5 people found his death was accidental. Interestingly, they took the advice of the former inmate who sold Krug the drugs he overdosed on. Luc Bouchard was served his 4-year federal prison sentence. He is now clean, but he recommended naloxone kits be made available in cells and that Ontario jails have weapons or contraband amnesty at intake. The jury agreed and is asking the province to look into that possibility. The inquest learned Krug was hiding drugs in a plastic bag inside his body. The jury wants the jail to stop using plastic bags wherever possible so it's not readily available for inmates. They also want more canines on patrol at the jail and better record taking. You'll find the full list on our website, ctvnewswindsor.ca. With more now on this cloudy and wet weather, we turn to CTV meteorologist Gary Archibald, who joins us from the Weather Center tonight. Gary.
Good evening, Stefanie. Good evening, folks. A bit breezy to go along with the gray weather, the wet weather, and even some thunderstorm activity within the vicinity over the next hour or two. 2 areas of low pressure providing the instability, in fact, creating one big massive wave that's cutting across Michigan into southern Ontario proper. And the embedded thunderstorms between Chatham, Kent towards London, Kitchener, Waterloo over the next hour or two could put down significant rainfall. We are still milder than seasonal, but we will cool down as we head towards the weekend, the first of the fall season. I'll break down what you need to know just ahead. For now, I'll send it back to the desk.
A man was taken to hospital this morning suffering from a stab wound. Windsor police say shortly after 8 a.m., officers were called to Wyandotte Street East near Parent Avenue for a fight between 2 men. The man that was stabbed was transported to hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. A suspect was located a short distance from the scene and taken into custody without incident. Later, a woman was taken to hospital after being hit by a vehicle. Police say it happened near Ottawa Street in Gladstone around 9:30. The pedestrian was taken to hospital again with non-life-threatening injuries. The driver faces 1 count of careless driving. Meantime, the LaSalle Fire Department, spent 4 hours last night trying to extinguish flames on 3 different boats at the same marina. The boats were parked in their slips at the Holiday Harbor Marina when the fire ignited. Crews arrived on scene just after 1 a.m. and didn't leave until almost 5. There is no word yet on what caused the fire. No injuries were reported. Meanwhile, residents in Chatham, Kent are being asked to conserve water. The municipality issued a temporary water conservation request on Sunday following an electrical issue at the water treatment plant. The municipality says crews were immediately dispatched to assess and diagnose the problem, but it has not been fully resolved. The backup generator responsible for pumping water to the distribution system also failed, leading to a drop in the elevated water tower levels and a temporary reduction in water pressure throughout the distribution system. The municipality says the generator issue has been temporarily resolved and water pressure has stabilized, but officials say they're still experiencing operational challenges at the site. Residents are being asked to conserve indoor water usage and eliminate all outdoor water use, including lawn watering, washing vehicles or exterior buildings, filling pools or hot tubs, and any other outdoor conservation activities requiring water. Windsor drivers are once again on notice. 2 new red light cameras came online this morning. The cameras are at the intersections of Lausanne Parkway and Tecumseh Road East and Lausanne Parkway and Lausanne Line. This brings the total number to 16 of the 20 red light cameras approved by Windsor Council to date. The remaining 4 camera locations are expected to be operational before the end of 2025. The Ontario government is promising to invest over $1.9 million to help renew and rehabilitate infrastructure in the town of Tecumseh. The funding, granted through the 2026 Ontario Community Infrastructure Fund, will go towards improving roadways, stormwater management, and other critical projects. In total, the province is giving out $400 million in 2026 to 423 small, rural and northern communities to address critical infrastructure. Mayor Gary McNamara says the investment allows the town to keep building a strong and sustainable community for all of its residents. And tonight, Leamington Council will decide the fate of a long-vacant high school. The former Leamington District Secondary School on Talbot Street West is slated for demolition. A total of 10 companies submitted bids, with Salandria Limited coming in lowest at just more than $822,000. The bid includes removal of asbestos and other hazardous materials from the site. Demolition is expected to take 5 to 6 months. Council's also moving ahead with plans for a new chimney swift habitat to replace the nesting space that will be lost when the school comes down. Returning to the courts now, and an ongoing murder trial in Superior Court. Today, evidence from staff at Hiatus House, a crisis center shelter for women and children. That's when Sarah Boulay was living when she vanished. Her estranged husband is on trial for her murder. As CTV's Bob Bellacicco reports, when Boulay didn't check back in, staff called police, and that would be the first step in uncovering her murder.
The jury heard evidence Tuesday from a former Hiatus House employee who first alerted police to the disappearance of 36-year-old Sahar Boulay. Bailey Grant, who worked at the shelter for women fleeing violence, told the court that Boulay, a client at the time, had signed out for an excursion but never returned. When Boulay failed to check back in within the 24-hour time frame, Grant contacted Windsor police to report her missing. Grant explained clients are required to let staff know where they are going and when they are expected back. If planning an overnight stay, they must also provide an address and contact number. Grant says there is also an informal no-contact list used internally to flag individuals clients should avoid. However, she couldn't confirm whether Brian Marbury, Boulay's estranged husband, was on Boulay's no-contact list. Sarah Boulay was last seen alive on May 26th. Marbury was arrested June 5th and charged with her murder. He has pleaded not guilty. The court also heard Tuesday from a Transit Windsor driver who confirmed that Marbury boarded the tunnel bus to Detroit on May 29th, the same day Boulay was reported missing. The final witness of the day was David Ennis, who says he knew Boulay for about a week and a half before she died. He says he saw her 5 times during that time and spent a lot of time with her talking and texting on the phone. Ennis described their first meeting saying he was taken by her beauty and stopped to offer Boulay a ride. They ended up spending most of the day together before he dropped her off at a corner near the Hiatus House. The last day he spent with her, Ennis said they took a trip to Colchester and enjoyed the majority of the day together. He found out Boulay was missing after seeing a picture of her in the media. Being concerned, Ennis says he tried calling her on June 1st, but no one answered. The prosecution is alleging Marbury learned Boulay had a new man in her life and was jealous. The trial continues Wednesday. Bob Bellacicco, CTV News.
It was horsepower for a heartfelt cause in Windsor today. The Corvette Club of Windsor once again putting the spotlight on children battling cancer. And as CTV's Chris Campbell shows us, revving up plenty of smiles along the way.
A corral of Corvettes paraded around Windsor Regional Hospital's Met campus. Their engines, rumbling for a reason far greater than speed.
We started the parade during COVID, and we decided to continue that tradition. So it's very nice to be able to do that, to support the hospital patients as well as the workers.
Each year, the club raises money in support of the hospital's Paediatric Oncology unit. Today, members delivered on that promise with a record-breaking $40,000 check presentation, celebrating another successful campaign to help kids and families facing tough battles.
I was a physiotherapist, so I had a young boy that I treated with a brain tumor for about a year, and so it is near and dear to my heart for sure.
We're so appreciative of everything that the Corvette Club has done for us. To be able to provide care within Windsor, Essex, instead of a lot of these families having to travel on the 401 and go up to London to receive care is absolutely amazing for our families.
The parade tradition isn't just about cars, it's about community.
I can't imagine the stress that they feel every single time their child is sick or has to go on a routine treatment and come to our facility, and knowing that they can probably drive 15 or 20 minutes within Windsor, Essex, rather than having to drive up the 401 to London is incredible.
From waving patients and families at the windows to the pride on display from club members, it's a rolling reminder that compassion can come with chrome and horsepower.
It's wonderful. It really just shows the support of the club, and the patients love to look out their windows and see the parade and know that that support is coming to them from the community.
The Corvette Club says it's proud to share their love of cars and keep this annual tradition revving. In Windsor, Chris Campbell, CTV News.
Disruption foiled. Still ahead on Windsor's news leader. How the Secret Service says it stopped a major threat during a high-stakes week in New York. Healing hooves. Later, how a local legion is turning to horses to help veterans. And missing man. Tomorrow, the last known images of David Paveo, and where police say he vanished from without a trace. That's tomorrow at 6 on CTV News. Start your day with the latest local news. By signing up for our newsletter, you'll get direct local content straight from CTV Windsor to your inbox, including top stories, the forecast, and videos. You can sign up at ctvnewswindsor.ca. The U.S. Secret Service believes it dismantled a hidden network and foiled a plot to massively disrupt New York City communications as the city hosts world leaders at the UN General Assembly.
Empty apartments with servers and server walls capable of making millions and millions of phone calls in and around New York City and the world that could potentially cripple New York City and other parts of the world.
More than 100,000 SIM cards were seized, all clustered within about 55 kilometers of New York City, enough to send 30 million anonymous text messages every minute, which could have completely overwhelmed communications. Investigators believe the alleged plot is the work of a well-funded and organized group that law enforcement thinks could be linked to China. Still at the UN, Prime Minister Mark Carney and Ukraine's President Vladimir Zelensky are highlighting the abduction of children by Russian forces and why their return must be central to future peace negotiations. Here's CTV's Judy Trin in New York.
At the United Nations, the Prime Minister and President Vladimir Zelensky called for the return of thousands of Ukrainian children taken by Russia.
Putin has stolen Ukrainian children.
Russia first abducted them and deported them.
Together with our allies. The most emotional pleas came from their wives. Diana Fox Carney making her first international speech alongside her husband.
As a mother, I simply cannot fathom the horror. What these children have endured is more than unjust. It is inhumane.
Their identities are changed, their ties severed, their hopes destroyed.
Canada said it's investing in AI technology to help find the Ukrainian children. Only about 1,600 children have been returned to their families. In his address to the General Assembly, President Donald Trump spoke of his frustrations with the continuing war.
It was supposed to be just a quick little skirmish. It's not making Russia look good. It's making them look bad.
Earlier this summer, during a meeting with Vladimir Putin, Trump hand-delivered a letter from the First Lady calling for the return of the children. Her efforts were acknowledged by Mark Carney in front of European leaders.
We welcome the recent powerful appeal to President Putin by the First Lady of the United States to consider the plight of children in ending this war.
This is an area of common ground between Carney and Trump at a moment when Canada is breaking with the U.S. in recognizing the state of Palestine. Judy Trin, CTV News, New York.
A shocking moment in a Florida courtroom today after a jury found Ryan Ruth guilty of trying to assassinate Donald Trump when he was a presidential candidate. Ruth was arrested last year on a golf course after a Secret Service agent spotted him hiding in the shrubs with a rifle. As the verdict was being read, Ruth grabbed a pen and stabbed himself in the neck before he was restrained. He now faces a possible life sentence. Police in Ontario are on the hunt for a motorcycle driver over allegations of stunt driving caught on camera. The video, taken on a highway in Barrie, shows the rider sitting sideways and even standing on the seat, all while driving at highway speeds. Police say they responded to a report about the motorcyclist, but the driver was gone by the time officers arrived. Today, the federal government announced implementation plans for the gun buyback program, starting with a 6-week pilot project in Nova Scotia before opening up nationwide later this fall. Here's CTV's Rachel Aiello.
Have you not failed at the task of getting this moving faster?
Absolutely not.
The public safety minister faced tough questions today as he unveiled the next phase of the federal firearm buyback.
The opening of the program to individual owners.
A program that he questioned the efficacy and enforceability of in audio leaked just yesterday.
I have absolute confidence in this program.
Then why did you say what you said? After a Cape Breton test run, owners nationwide of the more than 2,000 makes and models of firearms that the Liberals have outlawed will be contacted with instructions on how to participate. Those seeking compensation will either be able to turn their firearms over to local police after scheduling a time online, or keep them after proving they've been deactivated by a licensed gunsmith. The public safety minister said the context of his recorded comments were that he wanted the program implemented faster. But now, years after the buyback was first promised, firearms owners have until October 2026 to comply. And critics are calling for Gary Anandasangari's resignation.
On Monday, a minister says that his program won't work. On Tuesday, he says he's going ahead with the program.
The minister also faced calls today from gun control groups to expand the ban, saying unless additional semi-automatics are added, Canada's buyback program will be a waste of the more than $700 million already allocated. Rachel Aiello, CTV News, Ottawa.
Now to a happy ending to a story we first reported last week. Bill Shea, Harrow's 100-year-old Second World War veteran, is back home after spending time in a BC hospital. Unable to pay for a private flight with medical services, the family says it was an anonymous donor who saved the day. CTV's Robert Lothian was there when Shea arrived back in Windsor.
There he is. Once a tail gunner in World War II, it's Bill Shea's last flight that may be his most memorable.
When we told him Friday night and said, it's for sure, he said, I hope it doesn't fall through again. I said, no, for sure, you're coming home.
Shea landing in Windsor Monday evening after a month in a BC hospital. The 100-year-old World War II veteran receiving a hero's welcome home.
Great to see you, Bill.
So good to see you. Yeah, you behave yourself.
Be strong.
He's one of our veterans, we care a lot. He means a lot to us.
Falling ill after an Alaskan cruise, Shea was hospitalized with no way home. Family pleas for Veteran Affairs to help cover a nearly $60,000 private flight were denied until an anonymous donor stepped up.
I'm going to keep fighting. I would like to return the funds to that donor, and really, it's a principle of the whole thing. A World War II veteran, 100 years old, and they were just going to leave him there because he was getting hospital care.
Shea will now begin his recovery journey at a Windsor hospital. And after missing his own birthday celebration, friends and family are ready to make up for lost time.
He'll bounce back. If I know Bill, he'll bounce back.
As for traveling, Shea's family says they're grounding the 100-year-old from any future trips.
I don't think we'll let him. That's it. He's done. This will be his last flight.
Robert Lothian, CTV News, Windsor.
Before we go to the markets, here's our question of the day. Ontario's minimum wage will rise 40 cents to $17.60 an hour on October 1st. Do you think that is high enough? Yes or no? Go to our website to cast your vote, ctvnewswindsor.ca. Yesterday, we asked if you think self-pour technology should be used in Windsor, Essex, and Chatham-Kent. Out of around 500 votes, 62% say no. Canada's main stock index topped at 30,000 for the first time today as strength in the energy and base metal sectors helped it climb into record territory. Meanwhile, in New York, the Dow lost 89 and the Nasdaq fell 215. The Canadian dollar dropped 0.08 of a cent. And on commodity markets, gold gained more than $40 an ounce and oil added $1.13 a barrel. Canadian football has always been known for its bigger fields, deeper end zones, and distinct rules. But starting next season, the CFL is looking more like the NFL.
Let's take a look at our CTV News weather snapshot. Thanks to Terry Bruner for this great image. Do you have a weather image that could be our next snapshot? Text it to 10400. Just ahead, we'll talk rain through the next couple of days.
Discussion here at Windsor City Hall.
Windsor's top stories.
A major project is about to get underway.
Breaking news alerts.
Severe weather is a possibility.
And watch live.
Good evening, and thank you for joining us.
Download the CTV News app. From moment to moment, things change. CTVNewsWindsor.ca is Windsor's #1 source for online news. Watch every story from wherever you are, the moment it happens. CTVNewsWindsor.ca.
Unsettled temperatures to talk about. CTV's Gary Archibald joins me again for an extended look.
Stefanie, we're talking about showers, the potential of some embedded light thunderstorm activity, a bit more severe in terms of the cells that we've seen crossing, over the last couple of hours towards London, Kitchener, Waterloo, or within the vicinity along that 401 corridor. Today was mild, definitely, and humid. 26 degrees, reached that in the mid-afternoon. Our average high is 21. The air quality is still decent, lower the number on the AQI index. Looking at 3 out of 10, so that's considered low and good enough. 24 degrees in Chatham-Kent, still cloudy and more clouds, bringing showers tonight. 25 or 77 at the airport in Windsor. I'm anticipating humidity levels, obviously, to be above 70%. That's why 24, 25 feels closer to 29 to 31 right now. So it's a muggy early fall afternoon, now evening. The prairies are warming up. We're seeing temperatures over 20 degrees now. Southern Alberta, some of that warm energy that's been sent north from the Central Plains in the U.S. has bumped temperatures there. In a separate system, 2 areas of low pressure, in fact, have kept southern Ontario rather mild. You can see the first one that's brought showers across Michigan and into extreme southwestern Ontario, spinning about counterclockwise circulation. You can see the clouds and the showers. And with that spin of low pressure, and you can make it out here as well, you can see how showers are being ushered in around that circulation. We are unsettled for the next 2, maybe 2.5 days across southern Ontario. I think temperatures are still going to be in the lower 20s, but it's the rain and potential thunderstorm activity right around Lake St. Clair tonight into tomorrow that will be the main weather story. So unsettled, cloudy, wet. That's the story tonight. We are still mild, even by midnight, 19 degrees Celsius. So where do we go from here? Take a look at our Inner Care Siles 7-day forecast, calling for showers, maybe a thunderstorm or 2 through the day tomorrow, 22, the high 21, followed by 22. Still cloudy Thursday into Friday, but Friday afternoon through the weekend. And then Monday, Tuesday look good. Lower 20s, mid to lower 20s, and sunshine for the first weekend of the fall season. Stephanie?
Lifetime, brought to you by Safeguard Medical Alert Systems.
There's a new treatment helping to improve an autoimmune condition that can have devastating effects on a patient's life. Two drugs are promising to have fewer side effects while being easier to administer. CTV's Pauline Chan explains.
And I thought I was having a stroke. I thought maybe I had Bell's palsy. I had blurry vision. My right side of my face was kind of, saggy.
Before he was diagnosed with myasthenia gravis in 2021, Manly Lavender was in a wheelchair. But treatments, especially his 7th and latest medication, have brought him back to mobility and a zest for life.
I was able to cut my grass. I was able to walk my dog.
And while his current treatment is working well, he hails the approval of 2 new medications in Canada.
The door is being cracked open.
Before there were any treatments for this many years ago, it was a fatal condition.
The new treatments are called Zilbrysq, the first self-administered daily injection for generalized myasthenia gravis, or GMG, and Restigo, a subcutaneous injection given weekly at a clinic.
Zilbrysq is what's known as a complement inhibitor, and the Restigo is what's known as an FC receptor inhibitor. And these 2 new classes of drugs are new mechanisms.
Dr. Hans Katzberg says they are an improvement because they have fewer side effects and are much easier to take than the current hour-long infusions. Humera Osman of Muscular Dystrophy Canada, which is the umbrella group that covers GMG, says in the past, medications could take 12 to 18 months to show any effects. Now,
the effect has been observed much earlier. So you're really able to tell if you are responding well to treatment.
Many people don't have the resources and the time and the wherewithal to travel into a big center like Toronto and Ottawa and London, so they settle.
But he hopes being able to take your medications at home will mean more patients can get the best therapies available. Pauline Chan, CTV News.
A Windsor area Legion is turning to horses to help veterans living with post-traumatic stress injuries. This past weekend, Branch of 594 in Tecumseh brought a group of veterans to the Windsor-Essex Therapeutic Riding Association. The goal was to introduce them to equine therapy, a program recognized and funded by Veterans Affairs Canada. Organizers say 9 veterans took part. It's all part of a buddy check initiative that started 6 months ago locally, giving veterans a safe space to share stories, support one another, and explore new treatments. The Legion says there's been a shift in language within the last year. PTSD is now being referred to as PTSI.
I started to hear that shift about 6 months ago, and it was post-traumatic stress disorder, and now it's called a post-traumatic stress injury. They don't want to refer to it as a disorder. It is an injury brought on by traumatic events.
We got Sarah McLaughlin, Brian Adams, Sebastian Maniscalco.
More than just great music. Coming up on Windsor's News Leader, how these shows will bring comfort to those who need it most.
5K a day is back on 93.9
Virgin Radio.
Listen to Hannah and Johnny in the morning for your chance to win $5,000
Every weekday.
5K a day.
Virgin Radio.
The CFL is changing its game. League officials announced a series of rule modifications which they claim will make the sport more entertaining. Raheem Ladani has more on the changes to the Canadian game, which may look soon much closer to the American game.
Canadian football has always defined itself by bigger fields, deeper end zones, and unique rules. But starting next season, the league is tweaking that formula and will look a lot more like the NFL.
Absolutely no percentage of these changes were made because of any type of comparison to the NFL.
While the commissioner insists he loves the Canadian game, two of the biggest changes that will come in 2027 align with American football. The goalposts, which currently sit at the front of the end zone, will be pushed back, and the field will be shortened down to 100 yards. The end zones are also shrinking, but will remain 5 yards deeper than the NFL.
The goal is to have the best game possible, right? And I believe we have that right now. And I believe we also are improving on that. So regardless of what it might look like, you know, to others, is part and parcel, right, to, you know, how people take it.
Other changes that are meant to encourage offense will start next season. There will be a new 35-second play clock, benches on opposite sides, and a modified rouge that eliminates points for missed field goals sailing wide.
Kick is up. It's clear of the hands. Oh! Missed it, but it's out the back. We're going to OT.
Online, many CFL fans are expressing outrage, from describing the changes as garbage to saying it destroys what makes the league Canadian. And some say they're done watching.
It's kind of dumb that they're trying to be like everyone else, and instead of sticking to the CFL, they're trying to act like the NFL, see if they can get more money. But I think it's kind of bullcrap in my opinion.
However, others see this as a step forward.
There's going to be CFL people that are diehards. No, they're trying to make it an American game. They're not. They're trying to make the game actually better.
A toss-up between modernizing for the future or fumbling away tradition. Raheem Ladani, CTV News.
A fresh round of concerts are on deck at Caesars, with the proceeds going to a great cause.
We've got a great lineup coming up in October and November. We've got Sarah McLachlan, Bryan Adams, Sebastian Maniscalco. So it's a good lineup. We're very happy about that, and we're very happy to be providing some of those funds back to the community.
Kevin Laforet is talking about Concerts for a Cure, back again this fall for a 10th season. Proceeds from Coliseum concerts in October and November will be going to Transition to Betterness. More specifically, it will support the Dr. Michelle Prince Comfort Care Tote program. These totes are filled with items for new cancer patients that Prince found beneficial during her own treatment. Prince lost her own battle with cancer in 2018. Her husband, Andy Francis, says it's not difficult to talk about Michelle, it's a privilege.
These days are not difficult. These days are the good days, because it really underscores the essence of who Michelle was and what Michelle stood for. But more importantly, it underscores and reflects the good, caring, and the positive things that come as part of a very difficult journey.
We want to hear from you. Text us your comments or questions to 10400. You can also send photos and videos as well.
Would you text your ex for $10,000? 89X is back. Listen for the keywords and text your ex. It's never been more rewarding to get back with your ex. Only on Windsor's alternative, 89X.
This is your CTV Windsor Our Community Calendar. Tyler Smith, survivor of the 2018 Humboldt Broncos bus crash and founder of Not Alone Co., will share his mental health journey during the Check In, Don't Check Out event. See you next time on Our Community.
It's time to check in on what's happening now with Melanie Kettner. Melanie, we've been talking about the Windsor Symphony Orchestra a lot lately. What are the next steps moving forward?
That's right, Stephanie, we sure have been. The Windsor Symphony Orchestra is looking ahead to 2026 and a global search for its next music director. Longtime maestro Robert Franz passed away earlier this month. Officials say 2026 will be used as a springboard, bringing finalists conductors to Windsor to lead performances. In the meantime, guest conductors are being lined up to finish the season, including resident conductor Jeffrey Larson. The symphony is also reporting the return of sellout crowds and a strong sign of growing support.
This past weekend, we opened the doors for the Capitol Theatre to our season, and we had over 900 people that were there on Saturday afternoon or Saturday evening and Sunday afternoon. This season was the one that Robert programmed, and it was his artistic vision, and we are going to make sure that we proudly carry on his music legacy.
We've got more from the WSO online at ctvnewswindsor.ca.
And we're also online talking about a vehicle theft.
That's right, Stephanie. There are now 2 suspects who have been arrested. Police launched an investigation after a vehicle was reported stolen from the 300 block of Karen Avenue on Sunday. The next day, officers found the vehicle nearby with 2 suspects inside. A 33-year-old man and a 24-year-old woman are now facing charges. You can see the list of charges on our website. And in our social spotlight, now this looks like a well-thought-out implosion. Multiple Tennessee Valley Authority cameras captured this 500-foot cooling tower meeting its demise in spectacular fashion. It's being moved to make way for future development opportunities, but they sure made sure to bring that tower down in blockbuster style, Stephanie.
I can't even imagine how many hours it took to organize that. It came down perfectly. You know, usually we see it from like a street level, but I love the aerial footage there.
Yeah, exactly. They had so many angles covered.
Yeah, and it'll be interesting what replaces it.
For sure.
Okay, so if other people at home watching this have some trending video that they want to send you, how can they do it?
Yeah, they can email us newsnow@bellmedia.ca or text it to 10400.
Great. Budget booster. When we return, how a university student is using artificial intelligence to take the stress and the sting out of grocery shopping.
The latest news to start your day.
Interviews, conversations with the top officials, the difference makers, and personalities in Windsor, Essex.
Only on Windsor, Essex #1 morning show.
It's Mornings with Mike and Meg on AM 800.
Definitely gloomy out there today, Gary.
I thought you were going to look at the fall colors.
Yes, the
and
fall
say,
colors,
isn't that beautiful? Right? On a gray day, I thought, get some color in there.
I felt like blah. Like just looking outside, so cloudy.
Cloudy, rainy, thunderstorm activity within the vicinity. We even saw a severe thunderstorm warning in and around just northwest of the city of London. So we are surrounded by inclement weather, and we got into some light showers. We could still see more between now and tomorrow morning, say at around 6 a.m. The high tomorrow's 22, but keep the umbrella nearby. Also for Thursday, showers expected. But then things start to clear up Friday. Beautiful weekend, Saturday, Sunday. Temperatures about 24, 25 degrees for the weekend, and then lower 20s and mostly sunny Monday, Tuesday. So there's some good weather ahead.
Okay, thank you, Gary. Michelle, what are the plans for tonight?
Yeah, absolutely. As previously mentioned, there is a Leamington Town Council meeting, but there's also one out in LaSalle. They're expected to decide how construction on Malden Road will be done. A full closure for a shorter period of time or some traffic over a longer construction period. Plus, we'll also have details about the design options being presented for a new central library in Windsor. So definitely lots to work on and report on tonight at 11. Stephanie.
Construction, always a hot topic among our viewers.
And it seems to be everywhere right now, so I'm sure people are cringing at the thought of another major street being under construction.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Okay, finally tonight, a university student using artificial intelligence, helping families save money at the grocery store. She's created an app designed to find the best deals nearby while crafting your menu. With more, here's Heather Centerin.
Canada's food price report predicted that the average family of 4 would spend about $16,000 a year on groceries in 2025. But this University of Waterloo student is hoping to put a dent in the affordability crisis.
People can't really control like their car insurance or their rent or their utilities, but grocery bills felt like something we could actually tackle.
Henrietta Van Niekerk took money earned from a pitch contest and various other programs to create Scrimp, your very own AI sous chef and shopping assistant.
From flyer to meal plan to actionable list of items that you can buy. Scrimp uses AI to sort of connect all of these things for you so that grocery shopping and affordability becomes like a really easy 3-click process to solve. $2.92 to make this meal.
She says the savings could be big.
Our users are saving anywhere from about $50 to $100 per week for families.
And it's specifically catered to the user. All it needs is the family size, store preferences, and dietary requirements.
We try and buy gluten-free and mostly dairy-free if possible.
This mom of 2 says it's been a game changer at the checkout.
It's pretty easy to use, user-friendly, very straightforward.
Her favorite part is the unique recipe ideas. Tonight's dinner will be chicken shawarma.
The recipes were, not causing me to go and find 11 different ingredients and things that I probably would never use again.
I may see olive oil and say, no, I have that at home.
Van Niekerk says Scrimp is proof AI can be used for good.
Ethical AI instead is showing that there can be this coming together of human ingenuity and what the AI can provide, which is also why Scrimp doesn't make their own recipes. We actually use recipes that exist on the internet.
Right now, it's only available for users in Kitchener, Waterloo, and Cambridge, but the goal is to expand throughout Canada so more people can cash in on the savings. Heather Centerin, CTV News, Waterloo.
Now, this is artificial intelligence I can stand by for sure. She said between $50 to $100 a month. That adds up.
It definitely would, and I like the whole recipe part. I don't cook personally. My husband does all the cooking, but it's the recipes that get me, and everything's got to be so precise. Oh, that would be
especially after a long day work. Sometimes you don't know what to make.
True.
I need one for my dog.
Hey, I'm sure they can make it out there.
Dino's eating me I'm gonna have to start moonlighting, get another job. I'm just being honest.
Yeah. Honesty is key. On behalf of our dedicated team here at CTV News Windsor, we try and be as honest as possible. Thank you so much for watching.
For updates throughout the evening, go to ctvnewswindsor.ca.
And I'll be back with your only late local newscast tonight at 11.
Good night.
Be a bartender.